Welcome back, everyone. Today we are continuing our exploration of human evolution by focusing on the out of Africa hypothesis, which suggests that all modern humans can trace their origin back to Africa. We'll look at both fossils and genetic evidence that supports this theory. Well, let's dive into the evidence that connect us to our early ancestors. These are the objectives for today's lesson. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the out of Africa hypothesis, evaluate fossil evidence that support early human migration, and lastly, analyze genetic data that links us to our African origins. The out of Africa hypothesis suggests that all modern humans originated from a population of early Homo sapiens that lived in Africa around 60,000 years to 80,000 years ago. They began migrating to different parts of the world. Although earlier Homo sapiens like Homo erectus left Africa much earlier, it's the spread of Homo sapiens that we're most interested in for this hypothesis. Fossil evidence strongly supports the out of Africa hypothesis. For example, fossils found in Ethiopia is in Africa, like those at Omo Kibish, date back nearly 200,000 years ago, 200,000 years, and represent some of the earliest Homo sapiens. As you can see there on the picture, that is Omo Kibish. Yeah, he's the one who dates back 200,000 years, and he represents some of the earliest Homo sapiens. As early humans migrated, we find fossils along their pathways, like in the Levant region, showing a gradual spread out of Africa. Well, genetic evidence provides an even more detailed picture of our African origins. How does it provide that detailed picture of African origins? Yes, how? By analyzing mitochondrial DNA, scientists have traced all human backs to a single common maternal ancestor, often referred to as mitochondrial Eve, which we have talked about here on the first lesson. Mitochondrial Eve, who lived in Africa around 150,000 years to 200,000 years ago. Similarly, Y chromosomal data from males links them to a common ancestor, sometimes called Y chromosomal Adam. So Y chromosomal Adam is referred to as, yeah, it links with Adam because Y is the one that has to do with what is this? It has to do with gender, gender. It has to do with gender. These genetic markers help us understand how early humans spread across the globe. Well, genetic evidence also help us map the migration routes of early humans. As you can see that there's a map there. Small groups of humans left Africa in waves, spreading across Asia, Europe, and eventually the rest of the world. Events like Toba volcanic eruption may have reduced the human population, leading to a bottleneck effect, which explains why we see less genetic diversity outside of Africa. Well, genetic evidence also helps explain modern human variation. People outside of Africa have less genetic diversity, which supports the idea that they descended from a small group of early humans who migrated out of Africa. This pattern of genetic variation matches the fossil record of human migration. Now we are heading on to the last minutes of the presentation. Well, to summarize today's lesson, Homo sapiens first originated in Africa around 60,000 years to 80,000 years ago. From there, small groups of humans began migrating out of Africa, eventually spreading to different parts of the world. We see strong fossil evidence of this, such as the remains found in Omo Kibish in Ethiopia, which support Africa as the cradle of modern humans. Fossils discovered along migration routes further show how early humans spread across the globe. Genetic evidence also strengthens this theory. All humans today share a common maternal ancestor known as mitochondrial Eve, and males share a common paternal ancestor called Y-chromosomal Adam. Both of whom lived in Africa. They are both found in Africa. These migrations were small, and events like the Toba volcanic eruption reduced genetic diversity, which is why humans outside of Africa today have less genetic variation. All of this evidence supports the out of Africa hypothesis, showing that Africa is truly the birthplace of all modern humans. Well, before we wrap up, reflect on this question: how do fossils and genetic data together strengthen the out of Africa hypothesis? Write down your thoughts and we'll discuss them in our next lesson. And before that, we also have a multiple choice question consisting of 6 questions. It's a multiple choice question consisting of 6 questions that you will need to answer to check your understanding or to test the objectives of the lesson. And then from there, you'll have a reflective checklist for you to fill in there. And then the highest scores will obviously determine whether you understand or you did not understand. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.